Hi, hello, how are you? How are you guys doing? Did you enjoy the break? Went to toilet, had some tea, everything, huh? Okay, you know what? All the speakers started out with a little bit of something different. I'm going to start out with, confession. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you now, and it's a bit difficult for me to say this, but ladies and gentlemen, I am a little bit fat. I just got a mirror, I just found out. But no, everybody used to make fun of me. Everybody makes fun of me because I'm fat. So you know what? I'm going to make fun of myself first. Right? I am so fat that my nephews and nieces play hide and seek around me. I am so fat that when I went to the buffet, all of a sudden, terms and conditions apply. And I am so fat that when parents look at me, they go look at their children and say, if you don't behave, that man will eat you. Which usually works. We're talking about interdependence, right? I was just thinking, how can I make comedy about interdependence? And I realized that, I can make comedy about the things we're interdependent with, right? Any Singaporeans in the house? They won't admit, of course. Because they can get away with it, But we are interdependent with Singapore, they depend on us for, raw materials, and we depend on them for being kiasu. I don't know. For our comedic purposes, that's why they exist. But I've performed in Singapore a few times. I did stand-up comedy in Singapore, and it's very difficult to do stand-up comedy in a country that doesn't have a sense of humor. But then I was wrong. They do have a sense of humor because they have a restaurant called Hooters. For those of you who don't know what Hooters is a restaurant where the waitresses wear skimpy outfit to show off their assets. In Singapore. What is the point? I went there, I had the biggest breasts. I won the wet t-shirt contest, got second, third. In Malaysia, we have a lot of different races, especially here, we have the Indian, the Chinese, the Malays. We're all interdependent among each other. All the Indians make some noise. Wow, the homeland, brickfields. Yeah. But no, the thing is, Indian families are very hard to grow up with. It's very hard to grow up with. Because I grew up in an Indian family, obviously. But the thing is that, my mom, she wants to be cool with me. So she added me on Facebook. Which is a bit hard because it's hard getting up in the morning to find out that you've been poked by your mother. I remember the first time my mother poked me, my father liked it. And my mother, she wants to be, in contact with me all the time. A lot of bad things happening outside. And she said she wants to get a mobile phone. So she asked me what phone I have. I told her I have a Sony Ericsson. And you know how Indian mothers are so good in English that they screw it up? Because she went to the shop and said, "Sir, can you show me your erection? Do you have a small one like my son? Black color. I want to take pictures." And she bought the handphone, and now she wants, she starts SMSing me, which is, her name is Wilma Teresa Fernandez, which is a beautiful name, but the only problem is she likes to leave her initials at the end of the SMS. So I get some weird SMSs like, "God loves you, WTF." Now all the Malay people make some noise. Good. I love Malay people. I actually love Malay people because, I like the ones that you see on television, the one who actually run the country. I love them because without them, I wouldn't be in the comedy business. But, the thing is, I love the way they speak. They have a beautiful language, especially when they speak English, I like the way how they put intelligent words in front of their sentences to make the whole stupid sentence sound more clever. They always go like, actually, the government is doing a good job. Basically, I study in YCOM. Sodomy is illegal, by the way. I just can't believe we live in a country where sodomy is illegal, where, if you sodomize someone, you go to jail where someone will sodomize you. It's irony. And of course, my favorite people, Chinese people, make some noise. Wow, so many of y'all. I grew up with Chinese people, and it's a bit hard growing up with Chinese people. Being the only person, I live in Cheras, right? And now there's a lot more Indian people there, but when I was growing up in the 80s, I was the only one. That's it, there's just me, no one else. And growing up was a bit difficult because I can't play games with the kids. Did you all used to play the game Police and Thieves? Yeah? Yeah, I hated that game. Every time we played, all the Chinese people gather around like, we are the police. And you are the thief. Why? Because you're Indian. Did you all used to play the game Masak? Yeah. I hated that game too. Because every time we played that game, I had to wash the dishes. And I asked them, why? Because you're Bangla, what? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be a father soon, right? Thank you, I didn't do that much work. It was the best 3.5 minutes of my life. But, the thing is being a father, it's very difficult nowadays because it's a different time I live in. It's a different time. From when I grew up, it was a different time now. Because when I grew up, my father used to beat me. For no apparent reason. Simply only. But in fact, he used to beat me so much that when he used to go on holiday, my mom and dad used to go for holiday, he used to go to my neighbor's house and say, can you please go to my house once a day just to beat my child? Doesn't matter, just beat only. I remember my dad coming up to me and saying, son, we had 2 sons because I know one day I'll have to kill one of you. I miss my brother. But the thing is, we live in a different time now, because bringing a child, it scares me to bring a child to this world because, there's a lot of crime happening outside, there's a lot of kidnapping happening outside, you can't play outside like you used to. It never happened during my time, it never happened. Because can you imagine if I was kidnapped, right, and they call my father, it's like, if you want to see your son, it's $200,000. My father would be like, 200,000, kill him lah. I make another one cheaper. Can you imagine if there was, it was a Chinese kid who got kidnapped, and then they called, if you want to see your son, Achong, it's $200,000. 200,000, hold on, so expensive, oh. Why, I don't know, got discount, bro. Got free gift, umbrella or something. And heaven forbid it was a Malay kid, you know what I'm saying? If it was a Malay kid who got kidnapped and then they called the dad, it's like, if you want to see your son, Abu, tak faham. Kalau kamu nak jumpa anak kamu Abu, kamu kena bayar 200,000. 200,000? Abu tu siapa? Sekejap, bagi aku kira dulu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Tak apalah, kau simpan je lah. For the white people who didn't get that was really funny. You know, it's difficult bringing a child to this world because the education system is a bit weird as well. You know, it's a bit weird. I mean, like, you know, if I could pick up someone, where do you go to school? You went to a Chinese school. Secondary school also you went to Chinese school. Malay school, see? What was your favorite subject in school? English. Good. My favorite subject was history. You know, you know the subject where they teach you lies about the country. And my favorite subject, my favorite story in history was how Malacca got its name. You know, Parameswara, the first pendatang. He walked over, you know, to Malacca, he saw a tree and he sat down because he's trying to be Malay. Sat rokok lu, bro! And then he felt some, and then he found out it was a Malacca tree, and he named the place Malacca. What happened in Batang Berjuntai? You know, was he the same? You know, he walked a little bit further, sat down, and something was hitting his head like, dum, dum. Apa ni? Oh, orang India. Batang Berjuntai. Well, interdependence. Another thing about interdependence is the fact that I got married 2 years ago, and it was a good time, you know, because that was the last time I actually had any relationship in bed. I remember I lost my virginity at 17 years old. I found it again when I got married. And you know, the thing about marriage is nobody tells you this, right? The sex changes after marriage. And it becomes different. You know, everything before marriage is exciting. You know, it's exciting, like the Chinese zodiac. You know, everything is like dragon style, tiger style, dog style. And I remember talking to my wife about this, that we didn't want to end up that way. And we talked about it, and we thought, you know, let's make things interesting. You know, how do we make this interesting? And she picked up a Clio magazine. And in that Clio magazine, ladies and gentlemen, was 10 tips to improve your sex life. Okay? Tip number 1, talking during sex. During, you know. Not before. Not after, during. What are you going to say? In the magazine was some helpful tips. It says, who's your daddy? Now, is that really the conversation you want to have at that point? Who's your daddy? Arumugam. How old is he? 52. What does he do? Lorry driver. I'm sorry, but that's not sex, that's a job interview. Second tip, ladies and gentlemen, was role playing, pretending to be someone else. I've known my wife for 6 years. I'm supposed to walk through the door and say, hello, I'm the policeman. It was a bit weird, but I tried it, you know, just to be, you know, just to try it out, you know. I went up to her, you know. I said, bawa laju, eh? My wife gave me $50 and left. Thank you, TEDx. You've been an awesome crowd.